Hi guys, today we're going to talk about Trading 212, autoinvest and pies. I'm going to explain through all of the cool features, and later in the video I'll show you the two pies that I've chosen to invest in. First of all, please let me introduce myself. My name's Gary. I run this channel, Free Your Finance. I talk about investing, property and the journey towards financial independence. If this sounds like something you may wish to hear a little more about, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. Now, before I get into today's video, it's very important for me to say this is not financial advice. Please do your own research and never invest more than you can afford to lose completely. So now we've got that out of the way, let's get into today's video. I have been moaning at my sister for so long about getting a pie sorted. She really enjoys trading on Trading 212, and I said, why aren't you making a pie? And she said, Gary, when are you going to make a video about it? So this is for you, sis. Make sure you hit like for me, otherwise I'll tell mum. So a little while back, Trading 212 introduced what is known as pies. A pie is a selection of stocks, sort of like an ETF or an index fund, which is something I speak about quite a lot on this channel. The cool thing is you can create your own pie. So rather than picking an index fund or an ETF that picks a whole selection of stocks, some of which you may not wish to have in your portfolio, you can create your own pie of the stocks that you love. Your pie can include other things, including ETFs, and hopefully you can pick out the winners and leave out the losers. Obviously that's not quite as easy as it sounds, and if it was, we'd all be millionaires. Included in this pie feature is auto-invest. So basically you can choose for the app to automatically invest for you at set periods of the month or week or whatever you set it to. Before I flip over onto my phone, just to let you know, if you use my referral link to sign up to Trading 212, deposit and invest just £1, you'll get a free stock worth up to 100 quid. So this will be what you see when you first open Trading 212. It has some default tabs at the top like My Watch List, Popular Stocks, US Stocks, etc, etc. But down here next to the home button in the bottom left corner, you can see there's a sort of pie drawing. If you hit that, that will open your portfolio. So these are all the stocks that you currently hold. Now I'm probably going to make myself sound a little bit stupid, but when I first discovered pies, I kept struggling how to get back to this page, and what I didn't even notice, which is quite plainly in front of me, right in the middle of the screen, you can scroll between the tab of investments and you can scroll between the tab of pies. So it's really as simple as that. Anyway, if we go over onto pies, you'll see right now that I've got two pies that I've named Growth Pie and Tech Pie. If you haven't set up any pies, that should have a big drawing of a pie and saying create a new pie. So the first thing I'm going to do is create my own pie. So we're going to scroll down to the bottom of the page and we're going to hit the big blue plus button. Now straight away you'll see categories that are already pre-listed for you to make your life easier. They list most popular stocks such as Apple up there, obviously. They list dividend stocks, so I expect to say BP, AT&T, so all the obvious players that are paying good dividends, and they list growth, high volatility, low volatility, speculative, etc. Next up, you can also add ETFs like I said earlier. So if we go into most popular ETFs, what a surprise, a Vanguard S&P 500 ETFs there, one of my favourite ETFs. The next thing you can do is search for a company that you know you want to add to your pie. So let's search for one that everyone's been talking about, Tesla. There we go. So if you wanted to add Tesla to your pie, you just hit that plus button next to it. That is now added to your pie. If we hit done and come back to the tabs, I'm just going to quickly go through the growth stocks and just add a few different companies. So there we go. Right now we've got 6 selected instruments. You can see the 6 different companies here. And if you've made a mistake and you want to get rid of any, this is where you can just hit the cross button and now go. But let's say we're happy with our selections, we're going to hit to the next page. Now what this tells us is over the last 5 years, the average annual return has been 40.65%. Now it's very important for me to add, this is no guarantee of what you're going to get over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Just because these companies have done well over the last 5 years, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do well over the next 5 years. Nothing in investing is guaranteed. So what we can now do is scroll down and you see these sliding bars. You can change those sliding bars to a weight that you wish to hold in each company. Obviously the overall weight of your portfolio needs to reach 100. So if you go over on weight, it will warn you that you're at 125%. Obviously it needs to be 100%. So let's fiddle around and make a pie that we wish to have. So let's say we wanted less in Nvidia, we want more, slightly more in Netflix. Let's get it up to 100%. I'm sure you get the idea. We've actually dropped it. We've made the pie worse over the last 5 years, but it's now at 37.6. But let's just say this is what we wanted. This is what we think is going to do well over the next 5 years. We now hit next, and there is 2 options for investing in this pie. The first option I'm going to speak about is investing manually. So if we hit manually, we go to next, you're going to name the pie, so let's call it YouTube pie. You can change the icon, so let's just put it as those coins, and then you hit create pie. Now that pie is now created, however no money has gone into it as I chose to invest into it manually. If I click on the pie there, you can see that I can invest or withdraw funds. So right now, for any of you that have used Trading 212 before, you'll be familiar with this page. You can choose how much you wish to invest and fill up your account and do so. Let's hit back. What I'm going to do now is show you the auto invest. So I'm going to quickly fly through and just pick a few different companies. Go to next. We're just going to leave the weights as they are, and this one says over the last 5 years it made 51.9%. We're going to hit next, and this time we're going to choose auto invest. Now, for any of you that follow my channel, you'll know that I'm a big fan of dollar cost averaging, pound cost averaging really, as we're here in the UK. But basically that's investing into your portfolio every month or every week or whatever schedule you set it as. The idea of it is, firstly, you can invest when you have the funds available. So often we're paid maybe monthly, so you can invest every month when you get paid. And secondly, it can also help you ride out the dips in the market. So let's just say there is a dip on the day that we buy. We're then technically going to buy the stocks on that day at a slightly cheaper price. So we're going to be able to buy more of that stock on that day than we were when the markets were higher. This is where dollar cost averaging or pound cost averaging can really help you. There is research to suggest that if you ever got one lump sum to invest, technically you're best investing it all at once. Obviously that's totally down to you, your risk preference, and whether or not the money is available to go and what you want to do with it. So what you can see on this page is an estimation. Now I must add, this is just an estimation. This is based on the 51.9% return that these stocks have received over the last 5 years. Now again, as I said, just because these have received this sort of return over the last 5 years, it does not mean this is going to happen over the next 5 years. So this part of Trading 212, although it's quite cool and very helpful to see, you do need to take it with a slight pinch of salt, because we don't know how these stocks are going to perform over the next 10 or 20 years. But let's say, for example, we wanted to be investing in these stocks over the next 20 years. So that will take me to almost my 51st birthday. We can change the amounts using either the sliders, or you can tap on the box and change the amount manually. So let's say our regular investment is going to be £10. If we then hit change schedule, you can see the different availability of schedules. So you can go daily, weekly, every 2 weeks, monthly, you get the picture. But let's say we want to do it every month. We're going to do it on the 9th of each month, and we're going to set. You can then choose your initial deposit. So this is how much you put in straight away when you set up the account. So let's just say we're going to do £10. You'll hit next. You'll give it a name. So let's call this one YouTube Auto Invest. Again, you're going to change the icon and you're going to hit next. This is now telling me that I'm ready to go and I'm about to fund this pie. Now, I do not want to fund this pie as I've already got pies, and obviously I didn't even properly look at what I was choosing. So we're just going to hit the exit. The next cool feature on here is the pie library. So see down at the bottom next to the plus, there's open pie library. If we hit that, you can see some popular pies that have been created by other Trading 212 users. Again, you've got the tabs at the top that show popular pies that have been created by users. So you've got top pies, you've got dividend pies, and so on and so on. So let's say, for example, we're going to look through the top pies. The very first one that comes up is called Almost Daily Dividends. So if we click on that, we can see that they've made a pie holding all of these different companies in all different weights. And clearly by the name of it, I would have thought they're saying that it's going to pay a dividend almost daily. Let's say we want to look at a growth pie that's been created. There's one called a millionaire pie. So we're going to click on that. So if we like the look of this user's pie, we could choose to copy it. You can just hit that button, copy pie. What that'll do is that will copy that pie in the exact same weights that they've chosen out, and it will tell you the average annual return over the last 5 years. This one is saying it had 146% annual return. We could choose next, and again we can go through the process of choosing auto invest or manual invest, which we just spoke about. So that's how we go about either creating our own pie or copying someone else's pie. Now I'm going to quickly show you the two pies that I hold and how they're getting on. So if we back out of this, we're going to go back to my portfolio. Again, we're already on the pies tab, so you can now see my two pies listed out. Obviously, you can still see the YouTube one. I'll delete that when I finish this video. So the first pie that I invested in was the tech pie, the one below. And I'm only investing tiny amounts into these pies. It's more just for a bit of fun. Most of my money goes into low-cost index funds within a stocks and shares ISA. But what you can see is the overall of my pie. So right now, the value of my pie is £35.11. Personally, I've invested £32. So that means I've had a return of 9.72%. You can see here that I've chosen to reinvest any dividends that are paid. Right now I've been paid a 1p dividend, and you can see at the bottom of the page that's still in cash. It tells me that I'm 2.65% towards my goal of 1.33k. If I scroll to the next tab of holdings, you can see how I weighted my pie. Just to quickly show you the investments I hold: 15% Apple, 15% Netflix, 14% Microsoft, 14% Amazon, 14% Tesla, 14% Facebook, and 14% Alphabet, which is Google. The percentages that I set are in black, and the percentages in blue are what they currently are with market changes. You can edit this pie as you go, and there's a very cool feature of being able to rebalance the pie. It's up to you to decide how often you rebalance. Personally, I think rebalancing around once a year is more than enough, but that's totally down to you. Pick out a memorable date that you wish to rebalance your portfolio every year, and that should be fine. Next up, if we go to autoinvest, you can see I've got autoinvest set up. I invest £10 and it is due to go for 5 years until the 16th of September 2025. You can see here, based on my current return, my value projection is 1.34k, so I am actually slightly ahead of the original goal that it said I was going to be at. What you will find with these sort of returns, if I'd set that goal to like 30, 40 years, that goal would have been like 10 or 20 million pounds or something like that. It would have been really, really high because of the power of compounding. And then the final tab is sharing. This is if you wish to share your pie and let other people be able to find it. I've only just recently shared my pie and I've never added a description. If we go back to my portfolio, you can see my newer pie, which I've named Growth Pie. This is one of the ones that I copied off of the library. When I copied this pie, it said the average annual returns over the last 5 years was 120%. So I just wanted to have a little bit of fun and invest a tiny amount. So far, personally, I've invested £10 and the value is £10.24, which is a 2.4% increase. If we go to holdings, you can see the companies that are held within this user's pie. And they're all companies that are quite volatile right now and growing and going down at quite high rates. You can see I'm 16% down, then I'm 20% up. They're jumping up and down often, but not always. They're newer companies that are really reinvesting money back into their accounts. So you're probably not likely to get massive amounts of dividends off these sort of pies. I'm just going to quickly show you the holdings in this pie. So I've got Fastly, Neo, C Limited, GSX, Techie Carvana, Roku, Take-Two, CrowdStrike, Fiverr, Advanced Micro Devices, Zoom, Sunrun, Netflix, Five9, Mercado Libre, Zillow Group, Tesla, JDADR, Square, and Pinduoduo. I'm so sorry to all of those companies that I've just offended and pronounced their name completely wrong. Next up, you can see on the auto invest page, I invest into this one every single month on the 23rd, and I'm investing just £3 whole. Earlier we were talking about the value projections. Obviously take these with a pinch of salt, but it's saying with me investing my £3 a month for 10 years, I'm going to end up with £6.14 million. So if that is the case, I'm going to be very, very happy. You can see that currently I am on track for my projected goal. We will see where that is in about a year's time or so. Who knows? So if you think that you'd like to get involved with using the Pie and Auto Invest feature on Trading 212, don't forget to use my referral link. As I said, you only need to deposit and invest just £1 and you'll get a free stock. I've gone round my family and friends asking them all to do it and they've all got their free stock for just £1. Leave a comment below if you invest in a Pie and how it's performing for you. Apart from that, hopefully I'll see you on a video very, very soon. Take care, guys.